This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here with the gentleman behind Liberty Entertainment Group, Nick D. Donato, who is joining us all the way from Toronto right now. How are you today, sir?
I'm great, Jamie. How are you?
I'm just fine, thank you very much. Now, I'm here to speak to you about your Food to Fight initiative, a really admirable program that you've put together. I was reading about it last week and felt I had to speak to you about it and have you explain it to our viewership in person.
Well, it's a result of our last year's initiative of Food Ball, where we supported Mount Sinai with chefs from around the world and created an incredible fundraising initiative, which brought $800,000 to Mount Sinai. And it was all food related, based on giving back. And so I had to reach out to Mount Sinai and say, in October we probably won't be able to do Food Ball. And we wouldn't be able to do it because, being a realist, these are chefs coming from all over the world. Right. And I don't think we're going to be open in October to bring chefs from all over the world. So the discussion was, what can I do to help? I can't do this event. I've committed to giving back. Where can we help you now? And at the time, the Mount Sinai team advised me there was a real need for support in food for the front of line workers. Right. Something that seems strange, because I really wasn't aware there was a real demand or need, but it wasn't a need out of a financial need. It was a need out of timing, a need out of being able to access food. So what was happening at Mount Sinai was the kitchens had to be closed. Why? Because of the COVID issue, not to bring additional workers and so on. So obvious reasons. And so now they had no kitchens in the hospitals to feed their frontline workers. Right. And as a result, their people were going hungry on a daily basis because they were too busy taking care of patients and fighting COVID and doing the things they need to do. So they asked if we can help somehow or other. And as a result, Liberty and my team jumped in and says, look, we have Liberty Grand, which is completely shut down. No events, no space, and we can feed thousands of people through our kitchens at Liberty Grand and through our kitchens and chefs at Cibo. So we have the facilities, we have the manpower, we can do this. And we initiated doing it for a week as Liberty, as our sponsorship. But obviously we couldn't do that forever. I mean, there's only so much one organization can do. But what happened is other organizations started to reach out, and friends of ours who said, how can we help the food industry, which is my industry in terms of, opening the doors of Liberty Grand and keeping our chefs gainfully employed, and how can we help with COVID? And so the relationship was struck with Eventscape first, who are an architectural firm, who said, we'd like to give back, we just don't know where and how. So we put together a pretty great package for them, saying, here's how you give back. You can support lunch for all the workers at Mount Sinai Hospital for a week, and it becomes your initiative, and we are just working with you. We're doing it at cost, so it keeps my people gainfully employed, keeps my kitchens open, keeps Liberty Grand front and center, helps us give back and fulfill my obligation to help in giving back with Mount Sinai. But it also gives other organizations the opportunity to give back in a meaningful way, but also in a way that is easy enough for them to do, as opposed to taking the effort and time to create something and orchestrate it and so on. For them, it's pretty well turnkey. And I thought that was, really great. And so many organizations have stepped up. And we now have 10 weeks of that, which is going on. So
10 weeks, wow. So that started a couple of weeks ago?
It started a couple of weeks ago, but what we've done is next week we'll be doing 2 hospitals. So Toronto General Hospital and Mount Sinai.
And is that all of the food coming from the Liberty Grand kitchens right now?
Well, it actually is Cibo food, because we have a program there for takeout and delivery and so on. So the food and design of the food is made so that it's easy for takeout. Quality is great, and people enjoy it. And so it is the chefs from the Cibo brand who are creating the food and the recipes, but they're done out of Liberty Grand because we have the facilities to do 1,000 pastas in one given day.
Of course, of course. You have 3 Cibo locations now, so they're all 3 in Toronto. Those are all doing takeout right now.
Currently, we're all doing takeout, and with two of them, we've had to pivot, and we created the Cibo Market. And so the Cibo Markets allows people to come into our premises and buy some of the great produce and great meats that we are able to acquire through the Cibo brand, and also some pre-prepared food. So, you know, the Cibo Market, our restaurants now a walk-through facility where people can come and buy some of their goods. And you know, it was really started when people were coming around looking for masks and Lysol and cleaning products,
Right.
and also food. So now you can actually, which is not common for a restaurant, but those high need items like masks and Lysol were available to us through our suppliers, because you know we have Cisco and large suppliers who have this product for restaurants, and we said, why not share this with the general public, and we put those out as well.
Fantastic. Now, I think with the hospitality sector being hit so hard by this ongoing pandemic, pivot is the key word here. How have you managed to pivot with your other locations, both in Toronto and down in Miami?
Well, you know, the reality is things change, and you have to understand what is changing. And so I'll give you one example. The Cibo one was pretty straightforward in terms of saying food delivery. We were doing it before, and you know, being on DoorDash and getting our food out there was an easy solution. And obviously it was incremental business for us, and grew. The market was a whole new idea, identifying the need for people who are in a neighborhood to be able to come and pick up food. And then while they're there picking up prepared foods, maybe some foods that they can cook on their own at home. So it was a convenience factor for our audience. Things that were very different, for example, is Blueblood.
Of course.
You know, you would never expect Blueblood to be on a delivery platform, and we haven't been. But what we believed was, after 2 to 3 weeks of the closure of restaurants, we felt that people would very quickly want to have a different offering on their food delivery service. Everybody was.
For those people who don't know, Blueblood is your higher end steakhouse up at Casa Loma, right?
Yeah, so this Blueblood was a very high-end steakhouse, fine dining, high quality Wagyu beefs, and high price to some degree in terms of the quality of stuff. It's hand curated products. Everything was fresh to market. So it was expensive in terms of where we are in a restaurant level. But we felt that people would be looking for something like that. Would be looking for now a change where they can have a special meal at home. So as opposed to substance and just ordering food from all kinds of providers, maybe a Saturday night or a special night, anniversary night, where we're going to be doing those at home. So we brought Blueblood to delivery, and we did change the menu to some degree. So we would never serve a AAA steak before. It was below the grade that we would serve. Right. We added that, not because it's not a great product, but it's because it's something that's more accessible to home delivery. So we've adjusted our menu to home delivery, but still delivering a fantastic product. And surprisingly, it's one of our busiest venues for delivery at this point.
Interesting. I always was wondering about how higher end food traveled. How do you get over those kind of issues?
Well, that was one of the challenges, and that's one of the reasons we did not do the Don Alfonso brand, which is a Michelin-style fine dining restaurant.
Yes.
And we felt that with that restaurant, delivery would not work. But with Blueblood, we did feel that we could deliver steak. It should be an easy product to pull together and deliver. We came up with some concepts in terms of how we package the products to make sure it's consistent. We managed to, look at it and say, well, delivering a Wagyu may not be feasible because it's so expensive, and the quality will, come down to maybe a prime steak. So not really delivering those, but delivering products that can hold and can be delivered properly, and creating new products. Like one of our biggest sellers is a prime rib dinner, which we never had on our menu before, but it's a dinner for four, pre-cut, pre-served. So, when the delivery comes home, you're having a family dinner with everybody.
That's
so changing it to what would fit with the market and the delivery market.
Have you been selling much from your excellent wine cellar up at Blueblood?
Well, it's funny. It's another part of our business right now, and yes,
Right. Yeah.
it's going very well. There's different levels. We've had some of our wines on auction sites, so that's a new thing that's going on.
Oh,
So
right. Okay.
the auction sites would need some high end quality wine, which they can't get. It's not readily available here in Ontario. So we've put some of our really expensive wines on those auction sites, and we included in home delivery, so people can actually get a wonderful dinner from Blueblood. And I think that's one of the reasons it's so successful. That if somebody was having a special birthday or a special anniversary or something to celebrate at home, you want to make it special too. So, ordering from Blueblood, you can have an incredible, beef Wellington, and you can have a beautiful Amarone or a Napa cab, and have an extraordinary dinner. And we've seen those posts on regularly. And I think we're really helping people.
Excellent. I'm going to have a little look at that. Now, looking towards the future of the hospitality industry, in what we were calling the new normal, there have been many discussions about how restaurants out with delivery and takeout can exist once the lockdown regulations are eased. And we've seen this across Europe as well, with restaurants opening with very particular social distancing regulations in place. What are your thoughts about a roadmap out of where we're at right now?
Well, I think there's going to be 2 to 3 phases in terms of the roadmap. I honestly believe we'll be back to normal once we have a cure or a vaccine for this virus.
Yep.
And that may be 2 years down the road. So things will be back, not to normal, but we'll be back to what we perceive as restaurants, because people want to go out, people want to socialize. That's just in our nature, and so we will be back. It's just for us, it's how do we get there, and how do you manage your venues and your team to get there. We as an organization are fortunate that we do have some locations in the States, particularly in Miami, and now one of those places opened last week. So it gives us the opportunity to actually plan what we're doing here in Toronto, what does work, what doesn't work, and implement the plans and vision that we had for all our restaurants up here in one restaurant in Miami.
Interesting. Now, I always like to look for the silver linings in these tumultuous times. What has been your favorite thing that you have discovered or enjoyed during this period of lockdown?
Well, I think it's that the drive to be creative, and my role in my organization is always new products, new developments, and I've always been focused on the restaurant side of things and opening new restaurants and where and brands and the kind of thing we're doing. This lockdown has shifted me to start thinking a little bit more about online and how the restaurants can resonate online and actually evolve from there.
Right.
And one thing we've created, which hasn't launched yet, but will launch within the next couple of weeks, is the cibomarket.com.
Okay,
and
so the online ordering for the products you're selling at the Cibo Market.
Exactly, because we found there's been a tremendous success on the online market. We've been able to bring together our suppliers, typically who are restaurant suppliers, our produce suppliers, our meat suppliers, things that have been curated. And all of those people need to pivot as well and need to come up with different solutions for, where their deliveries and volume is going to come from if it's not coming from restaurants. So we have another industry which has been focused on delivery to restaurants and quality products, which may be not even available to some people in grocery stores. And now being able to be on our team and work with us to create a grocery delivery system called cibomarket.com, where we'll be bringing fresh fruits, vegetables, meats. We're looking at alcohol and wine as well, but it'll be a specialty kind of products where, the kind of ingredients that you would expect from restaurants.
Right. Okay. Well, and when does that come into being online?
We're currently in the preliminary phases where
Okay.
we are actually doing deliveries to close people and making sure we get the kinks out for the delivery and the
Right.
teams come together. But I would say you'll probably see that by June, mid-June, you'll see the ChiboMarket.com live online, and we'll be delivering throughout Toronto.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Nick DiDonato, thank you very much for joining us today. I can hear my 5-year-old son tapping on the window just over here right now. He doesn't quite understand that this is work right now. Thank you so much for joining us today, and all the best with your Food to Fight project. That is really fantastic. I'll be following that quite closely. And stay safe out there.
Okay, thanks so much. Stay safe. And you know what? One thing you asked, what I learned in terms of this
Yes,
lockdown
yeah.
is enjoying that much more time with family. And my kids are a little older than yours. I have a 26-year-old and a 30-year-old.
Okay.
Both ended up coming back home because it made more sense for them to live with us. And you know, it's been 2 months of getting to know my sons much more than I've ever gotten to know them before. The goods and bad, but it's always something that I'll remember and cherish forever.
I understand that 100%. Nick DiDonato, thank you very much for joining us today. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.